let's register on the electoral list. This is a message from Equinoxe Television.
Hi there to you all viewers of Equinoxe Television. It's time for the news in the English language. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Our major stories this evening: civil society organizations in Cameroon express worries and attempts by public authorities to stifle freedom of expression in the country, especially during this crucial period. Barrister Alice Combe of Redac and others insist that civil society organizations are the voices of the voiceless masses in Cameroon and they are not there for personal interest. We will be telling you more about their grievances in this news edition. And we will take you to Kumba in the southwest region of the country, precisely to Kusala, a neighborhood where the people complain they have not had light for over 7 months now. Viewers, those are our lead stories. Details and more when we come back. Welcome back, viewers. Thank you so much for the confidence. We will begin in Kumba in the southwest region of the country, where inhabitants of Kusala, a locality in Kumba, complain that they have not had lights for over 7 months now. The inhabitants are even more bitter somehow as they continue to receive bills from the electricity company, even though they have been in darkness for over 7 months. Samanji Gabriel now takes us to Kusala to tell us what the people have been going on.
Frustrated inhabitants of Kusala neighborhood say they want to be connected to the rest of the country after spending more than 4 months in the dark. We are suffering in this neighborhood since December 25, 2024 till date. We are in darkness, but before now, within 2 weeks, we had power supply, maybe in the morning, and in the evening, we sleep in the dark. Bar owners are also not left out, as because of the lack of electricity in their neighborhood, business has dropped drastically, making it difficult for them to sell. The main problem is that of a transformer, and the people accuse the energy company to be the origin of their problem. We came to Kusala, but they connected people in another neighborhood, and each time we have a new transformer, there is always a problem. We have begged the officials of the company in charge to disconnect the line, but since it is a private line, they have ignored our plea. Notwithstanding cables crisscrossing the Kusala neighborhood, in the night, the entire quarter is dead. To make matters worse, these inhabitants still pay bills. Most of us here have been served bills, and we are wondering how we are going to pay bills while we sleep in the dark. We don't even know the mechanism they use in reading our matters. They are now calling on the local authorities to act. We are begging the Kumba administration and the government to help us because we have suffered a lot. Kusala neighborhood is just one amongst many others having the same problem within the southwest region.
Samanji Gabriel telling us what the people of Kusala in Kumba have been going through, and they are hoping that the situation comes back to normal soonest. From the southwest, we take you to the Nyong and Ekele division of the central region, where insecurity, the consumption also of hard drugs, and numerous road accidents are pressing issues which the people say are plaguing their communities. A recent coordination meeting with law enforcement officers and local authorities in Bot-Makak highlighted these challenges, including tragic road accidents. The latest cost the lives of at least 7 persons, as Luciliengu is here tells us in the report which comes up next.
The locality of Bot-Makak in the Nyong and Kele division has been plagued by insecurity and the consumption of hard drugs for years. This has led to increased crime wave and community unrest. In addition to the insecurity threats, Bot-Makak has experienced a surge in road accidents, including a recent incident that occurred at Matumba that resulted in 7 deaths and several injuries.
Le trafic est majoritairement fait aujourd'hui par les motos.
This dire situation, according to the population, is largely due to the poor state of roads linking various localities. Addressing these issues was the focus of a recent coordination meeting involving local authorities and law enforcement officers. The senior divisional officer for the Nyong-Ankele division, Chaibu, emphasizes the urgent need for improved road safety. Furthermore, continuous boundary disputes between the Nyong-Ankele, the Sanaga Maritime and the Leke divisions were raised by the mayor as significant problems affecting the peace of the inhabitants. These interconnected challenges underscore the urgent need for coordinated efforts among local authorities to effectively address drug abuse and infrastructural issues in the Nyong-Ankele division.
And now over to one of our lead stories. Civil society organizations in Cameroon have expressed worries at attempts or alleged attempts by public authorities to stifle freedom of expression in the country, especially during this crucial period. Barrister Alice Com of Redac and others insist that civil society organizations are the voices of the people and not there for personal interest. We remember that Redac is still closed for about 6 months now. Mala Glory now tells us more about their grievances.
A coalition of civil society organizations have called on the government to give them freedom of association so they can carry out activities. The president of Redac, Barrister Alice Com, was speaking on behalf of other civil society members during a press conference in Douala this Tuesday, June 24th, on the state of activities carried out by right groups and malicious attacks on Redac, the network of human rights defenders in Central Africa. She insisted the office sealed 6 months ago must be open to permit them carry out activities ahead of the presidential elections in Cameroon.
We need to create an awareness on the restriction of the space, civil space, because this is very dangerous. We must not shut the mouth of the population, of the society. Election must be based on liberty, freedom, for fair election.
Redac's office was sealed since December 24, 2024 by the Minister of Territorial Administration for a period of 3 months, accused for not giving financial account to the government.
Redac has transmitted to MINAT all the administrative and financial documents related to the implementation of their activities on January 29, 2025 to the Ministry of Territorial Administration.
To Barrister Alice Com, the office is still sealed till date due to bad faith and also because the decision doesn't come from her to break the seal.
This is not my position, but we have a board of directors, president of Commission Africaine des Droits de l'Homme. We are trying to ask him to tell us exactly what he wants, he intends to do.
The human rights defenders noted that they are not a political group, but help in structuring the society and also to protect the rights of civilians.
In other news, the Republic of India has donated some 1,000 tons of rice to victims of floods in Cameroon, especially those in the far north region of the country. And in relation to that, civil society actors and social critics in the country say the popular fear of a potential lack of accountability in the distribution of the 1,000 tons of rice offered to Cameroon by India is somehow legitimate, highlighting that the concern stems from previous experiences of swindles public goods, and the actors say that nothing much can be done to the public or by the public. They should just call for change in the country. Details with For Me, Armstrong Sander.
Destined for victims of natural catastrophes and IDPs in Cameroon, the relief aids from the Indian government comprising 1,000 tons of rice and a consignment of medication was received in Douala by Cameroon's Minister of Territorial Administration, Paul Atanganji, while transportation to the regions, according to the minister, will be done in maximum 48 hours. The Cameroonian public is skeptical about transparency, raising fears of a potential Aucun rice scandal season 2, a worry to which we asked Dr. Nick Ngwanyam, a social critic, on just what can be done to avoid it.
People are used to the fact that things never get to the right place. People now know that lots of the things that are given to, that are supposed to get to the needy usually disappear. And with us televising like we are doing now, the hope is that this scarecrow would allow the rice and whatever to get to the people who need those things. But you must be a fool to swear that every grain of rice will get to the people for whom it is destined. Most of that rice will end up in the market. The rice bags will be changed. People will take some of that rice, open it, change the bags and change the labeling and put it on the market and sell, or just hoard it in their homes and feed their families. But the real suffering people, very little will get to them. There are so many IDPs and.
He goes further to demonstrate that Cameroon has got all it takes to be self-sufficient in staple food production, including rice and wheat.
To solve this problem, and we copy just what is being done in Burkina Faso, what Tuareg has done in Burkina Faso. If we copy what is being done in Zambia or Zimbabwe, they decided to grow the wheat that they need, and now they are self-sufficient in wheat and they're exporting wheat. And we have a lot of land in the north where there used to be Semri, all those. We have land up there. We have land everywhere in the west, in the northwest, just about everywhere in the east. We can grow whatever we want. And this country is so blessed with different climates and ecological zones. We can grow anything, wheat, apples, vines, everything that is grown in Europe, we can grow those things here.
Zooming into the many other challenges affecting the nation, Dr. Nick Ngwanyam says the global solution lies with the third option. The growing concerns vis-a-vis the accountability in the distribution of the tons of rice from India reposes on the flaws that characterized the distribution of some 100 tons of rice offered by aucun in the fight against the social impact of COVID-19 on Cameroonians. It remains unclear 4 years after if the rice ever got to its destined population.
Now we talk politics more. The Cameroon Party for National Reconciliation, known as the PCRN, the leadership dispute has been settled, with the Marwa Court of Appeal confirming Kabralibi as the party's president. This decision marks the end of a long-standing controversy sparked by Robert Connor's petition challenging the legitimacy of Gidigi's Congress. Immaculate Fogwe reports.
The long-standing leadership dispute within the Cameroon Party for National Reconciliation (PCRN) has finally been brought to a close. A verdict delivered on June 19, 2025 by the Marwa Court of Appeal confirmed the judgment of the Kaile Court of First Instance, recognizing Honorable Kabralibi as the national president of the opposition party. The dispute originated from a petition filed by Ruben Kona, who claims to be the party's president, seeking to annul the Gidigis Congress of May 11, 2019, which elected Honorable Kabralibi as the party's leader. The Court of First Instance rejected the petition in September 2024, and the Marwa Court of Appeal not only confirmed this decision, but also condemned Ruben Kona, stating that the Congress was perfectly regular. In a statement, Kabralibi noted that this court decision brings to 5 the number of judgments and rulings rendered in his favor in this case. He expressed confidence in the consistency of this judicial decision and called on party militants, sympathizers and Cameroonian citizens to focus on the essential, namely preparing for the upcoming presidential elections in October. Kabralibi issued a message of unity and mobilization on the eve of this electoral deadline, inviting everyone to register on the electoral list, vote, and above all, monitor their vote with a sense of civic responsibility.
Now we treat you to news out of the country. The president of Sierra Leone, Julius Amada Bayo, has been elected to lead the Economic Community of West African States ECOWAS, succeeding Nigeria's President Bola Tinubu. This comes at a time when the sub-regional organization is facing multiple challenges, including the departure of Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso. Let's have more of that story and more on our foreign page roundup with Cedric Chakutu.
In Niger, villagers were killed during a Muslim sermon in Manda in the Tillaberi region. As of Monday, Nigerian authorities had not yet commented on the attack, which was attributed to jihadists. According to a local source, the army was deployed near the village during the attack. However, a local youth association, which wished to remain anonymous, claimed that no rescue mission was conducted in the area. Other killings of civilians in similar circumstances, such as after Friday prayers, have been claimed in the past by Islamic State jihadists active in the area. Elsewhere, Sierra Leonean President Julius Maada Bio was chosen on Sunday to be the next president of the West African Economic Bloc, ECOWAS. The Economic Community of West African States was founded in 1975 and faces challenges related to rising violence, this after the departure of some members and economic disruption. In a statement issued following Sunday's announcement, Julius Maada pledged to prioritize democracy, security, cooperation, economic integration and institutional credibility. Maada is currently exercising his second term as president after a disputed election 2 years ago in the West African coastal country. He was president when ECOWAS imposed severe sanctions on Niger as a result of a coup 2 years ago. Niger cited these sanctions as one of the reasons he left the Union. Sierra Leone was one of the countries that supported military intervention in the country in 2023.
And that does it for the first part of the news, viewers. Let's now move on to Talking Point. Welcome back. Our guest tonight once again is Eric CHINJE, an ex-journalist and one of the pioneers of the national station in Cameroon. Thank you again, sir, for accepting to talk to us on the news on Equinoxe Television. We are pushing with the discussion of yesterday. Today we are talking about the outing of some elites of the South region, President Paul Biya's region of origin, who came out recently to call on Cameroonians to be wise and vote for the candidates who can take them out of the miserable situation they find themselves in. You are an opinion leader. What has been, who has been vocal somehow for change in the country? What's your analysis of the outing by elites of the South region lately?
Yes, I have heard the complaints of the elite team from the South region of the country, and I agree with them totally. Mr. Biya's regime has not been about people from the South. They've appointed a few of the elite from the South, but that has not meant serving that region. That region has the same problems of infrastructure, of agriculture, of health, of education, and so on. That region has the same problems that the other regions of the country have, except, of course, the Northwest, Southwest, and region, whose problems are even more serious because they involve violence, they involve death, they involve, all the other crises that nations tend to go through. So, yes, the people of the South, I'm totally in agreement with them. They have suffered under this government as much as almost everybody else, except their elite, except the types of Mr. Famindongo, whom I read what she wrote, rejecting what the guys from the South said. But Mr. Famindongo, and it's somebody I know, and he cannot look himself in the mirror and say that he has served the country as the ultimate authority in higher education. He's not done a good job with that. Why should he deserve to stay on? Why? So let's be serious. Let's try to put the past behind us. Let's move forward with a clear vision for this country, a clear vision to transform our economy, to build our schools and our hospitals, to make life better for the majority of Cameroonians, because the majority of that country today is in pain. That majority is suffering. And I think Mr. Famindongo doesn't want to do what the other minister, what's his name, the fellow in Justice, Momo, who said he does not see potholes in Yaoundé, he does not see the mud, and the dirt in Yaoundé. He doesn't see that when everybody else sees them. So there's clearly a problem with many members of the ruling class in the country today. They're willfully blind to the problems of Cameroon. But we are at a point where we can no longer afford to be blind to those problems. So I'm totally very clear about this. I am calling on all those who are in government, who know the truth, and I have spoken to some ministers in government, and they've told me in private that they are totally unhappy with the current situation. And if President Biya wants me to tell him who those ministers are, I will. But they know themselves. So many people, even in Mr. Biya's government, are unhappy with the current situation. It is time for change, and please, if you love Cameroon, you will fight for change. This year, for the first time, let us have a president we have chosen, a president we know understands us and fights for us, internally and externally. I'm not saying Mr. Biya didn't, but he gave his best in 43 years, and the best is what we have today. And what we have today, we're not satisfied with.
And now, sir, let's talk about tribalism in Cameroon. Some opinions have it that there are no tribalistic tendencies among Cameroonians. It is just a weapon used by the CPDM or the ruling party to instill division among Cameroonians, especially the electorate. What's your take on this?
And I want to use this question to invite every Cameroonian to reflect on what you're saying. The truth, I believe, is that there's no tribalism in Cameroon. Mr. Biya, the president, has said if he could pick one problem, one that needs to be addressed in Cameroon, it will be tribalism. Not because we are a tribalistic people, but because we've used tribalism to destroy the country. It is true that, so Mr. Biya himself is not necessarily a tribalist, but he's been made to believe that the only way he can conserve his power is by giving power to people from a certain ethnic group. And that's part of the problem. It's not necessarily because they are tribalistic. There are people from all over Cameroon. There are Anglophone Cameroonians living and thriving in the far north of our country, in the deep south of our country. There are people from the eastern province who are in the southwest, thriving, living normally with their fellow citizens. So this whole tribalistic concept, I believe, is one that is promoted by the ruling party, the CPDM. And why they're doing it, God alone knows. So, it comes up when they need to divide us and to, render fragile the social fabric of the country. They do that deliberately. But I don't think my circle of friends and family include everybody. Bassas, Bamilekes, Northerners, you name it, Anglophones. No, I don't think, and I am a typical Cameroonian. And that typical Cameroonian is not necessarily tribalistic. So this whole notion of tribalism has been invented to divide us even more, unfortunately. But at the core of it, I think we are a good people who love the nation, love each other, and are willing to sacrifice these unfortunate tribal tendencies so as to deny the ability to divide, to fairly, equitably divide, the resources of the country. So my answer to your question, quite simply, is I do not believe that we are a tribalistic people. There is tribalism in Cameroon, which is used especially by the politicians to either divide or divide and conquer. That's my
Thank you so much, Sir Eric CHINJE. Before we go, we are a few months to the presidential election in Cameroon, and you are one of those who have always advocated for change in the country. Can you speak to those Cameroonians who are watching us right now, some few months to the presidential election?
Thank you very much. And I'll end up with this. And I'm thankful for the opportunity. What I want to say is, I totally believe that we all, including those in power now, we all love the country. But too many people have done the country so much wrong. Too many people within the leadership have done so much wrong to the country. And I know it, they know it. The fact that we could not even build a stadium that bears the name of the president of Cameroon, and yet the money was available. The fact that we could not even do that. The fact that Yaoundé is a pigsty. That we cannot even clean our nation's capital is a problem. The fact that so many young Cameroonians are dying trying to run out of the country is a problem. The fact that we've not been able to resolve, to address the problem of the northwest and the southwest regions, the English-speaking part of Cameroon, that we've not been able, after nearly 10 years, to resolve a simple problem, tells you there's total incompetence or inability to continue to govern. The fact that we've not been able to address the problems of North Cameroon, and that Boko Haram is coming in and using our young people who cannot find meaningful jobs. That's the problem. The fact that our economy is stagnant, is not creating jobs, that university students are doing motor taxi or buy and sell them by the roadside. This is a disaster for the country of Cameroon. Let everybody think about that and say no to this. Please think about it and say no to this. Let's go into this election. It's not against anybody. It is for the country. It is not against anybody. It's not against Mr. Biya, not against Chantal Biya. It is not against Ngongo or whatever his name is. It's not against anybody. It is for Cameroon. And if you're voting for Cameroon, you will not vote for a system that has effectively destroyed the hopes of millions of Cameroonians. So I appeal to every one of us, stand up for Cameroon. Stand up for Cameroon. And let those who've worked through corruption and other means to destroy the hopes of so many, let them retire. Especially the leader of that group, President Paul Biya, whom I knew was a good man when I knew him. It's time for him to retire. He has no business trying to run a complex country like Cameroon. None. That's my last word to Cameroonians, as you said.
Hopefully, conscious Cameroonians have listened to you wisely. Thank you, Sir Eric CHINJE, for accepting to be our guest on Talking Point again today. And, sir, hope to have you some other time. Viewers, thank you so much. That was what we put together for you on the news this evening. Our programs continue. As usual, Equinoxe will be yours in about 30 minutes, and the news in the French language comes up at 8 p.m. Stay with us on Equinoxe Television. Bye-bye for now, and see you again tomorrow, same time, God willing.